From The Reporter, the paper of record for Delaware County's towns and villages, this is Off the Record, a quick look at the latest county news. I'm Andrew Kantor, and this week we've got the county fair, of course, FEMA canceling Sidney's big project, some new weather stations, an upgrade to the county's 911 center, and more. All that said, let's get to it. You know what's coming up, right? It's the Delaware County Fair. Now, county fairs are the best because they're big enough to have a ton of stuff to do, but they're also small enough that you can actually find parking and you run into a lot of people you know, and you don't have to drive all the way to Syracuse. All right, the Delaware County Fair. It starts Monday, the 11th. It runs through Saturday, the 16th. And I'm not going to go over everything that's happening there because, well, there's just too much. And also, the Reporter has the complete fair guide. If you subscribe, it'll be with this week's paper. If you don't, you can pick it up free at newsstands around the county or at the fair entrance. Oh, and there's the website, delawarecountyfair.org. Now, obviously, it's an agricultural fair, so there's livestock, dairy, more dairy, cows and pigs and horses and sheep and bunnies and chickens. Yeah, you get the idea. And of course, there's the midway, all sorts of exhibits, the demolition derby, a ton of fair food, and real bathrooms, not porta potties. Remember, this year, any fair food that you consume on the fairgrounds, it's calorie and fat free. So yeah, make sure to grab the fair guide, get your tickets, head over to Walton this week. The long-delayed culvert project in Sidney, the one that's been in the works since after the 2011 flood, well, it's over. FEMA has denied an extension on a $5 million grant that would have paid to install those new culverts near Route 8. They were going to help move floodwater out of the village faster to avoid a repeat of the 2006 and 2011 floods. But FEMA, in case you haven't heard, it had its budget slashed and construction on the culverts hadn't even started, so the feds pulled the plug. County planners said they're going to appeal, but they're not optimistic, so they're looking at other ways to use the land. They got the land, by the way, after they bought out residents whose homes were destroyed. So instead of a culvert, maybe they'll plant some nice native plants or put in a butterfly garden. And those aren't my ideas. That's actually what they're suggesting to do. Speaking of floods, Delaware County is setting up a new network of weather stations that will help identify potential flooding in real time. It'll send live rainfall data straight to the National Weather Service, which can warn residents quickly if there's a serious danger. Well, unless the Weather Service is shut down, which has been talked about. In that case, people will just need to monitor those weather stations themselves. The never-ending question of whether ATVs will be allowed on the streets of Walton is still never-ending. The latest update, Walton Council members are looking at questions of insurance if they allow ATVs on town streets. It is a total mess because state law isn't clear about whether big ATVs can even be registered, and if they can't be registered, are they allowed on the roads, even if it's just going from one trail to another? So the town's insurer is a little worried about how the whole process is going to work. So right now, everyone's just doing more research to try to figure it out. I have a feeling this is a story we're going to come back to. The Long Eddy Fire District in Hancock basically fell apart. People there have been worrying. Are they going to have any kind of fire protection beyond a bucket brigade? Fear not, say Hancock officials. They passed a resolution promising to coordinate with other departments, and nearby fire companies will continue covering the area. That's sort of good news for Long Eddy's hose company, which says it's been left in the dark and underfunded, but is still responding to fire calls. As one member so delicately put it, "We popped the pimple, now it's time to clean it up." Delaware County just scored $1.2 million from New York State to upgrade its 911 dispatch center. We're talking new technology, fancy features like text to 911, and real-time language translation. It'll even recognize Mandarin or Dutch for all those Mandarin and Dutch speakers in the county. And it'll include better chairs and desks. The only problem? None of it's going to work right until providers like Frontier update their ancient copper lines. So yeah, it'll be a cutting-edge system. It's going to be held together by bubblegum and duct tape, at least for now. Delhi police are getting a new truck. A $70,000 truck, in fact, although half of that is being paid for by a state grant. They're planning to use it for things like hauling traffic cones and setting up barriers at local events. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff you can do with a truck, right? Trustees say they'll see how it goes, and if the truck doesn't prove useful, they won't buy another. County election officials say they are stepping up cybersecurity and prepping hard for the upcoming election. They've got some new e-poll pads, whatever those are, fresh printers, and a shiny cybersecurity score of 83, which they're pretty proud of, even if they didn't say exactly what 83 means. But it sounds pretty good, and apparently it's better than some other counties. But one thing is still stumping them: organizing all the digital data they collect. Even the state says nobody's got that down yet. And also, the grant money for these upgrades, it's running out. So, progress is happening, just don't expect it to come cheap or easy. Hancock is eyeing a full overhaul of Reedburn Park. They're talking about big upgrades like a new wheelchair-accessible playground, a covered picnic pavilion, a half-mile walking loop. Oh, and one of the more creative ideas, a timber harvest on the unused acreage that can help fund the whole thing. They're talking about grills and benches and better trails, maybe even a mural on the concession stand to spruce up the entrance. All these plans, they're still early, but they will be holding a public workshop before anything is done. And that's it for this week's Off the Record. But as always, there's plenty more in the Reporter, in print or online at the-reporter.net. Hey, it's your local paper. You really ought to subscribe just to keep up with everything that's going on. All right, I'll be back next week. In the meantime, enjoy yourselves, enjoy the fair. Thanks for being here.